This is our evidence-based recommendation. You can go a little bit higher or a little bit lower, but this is sort of the bell curve that you want to be in. For the lacto-bifido blend, 10 billion per day for 2 to 3 months. You can go higher, but this is where we're moving towards. Saccharomyces boulardii, 10 to 15 billion per day, 2 to 3 months. Soil-based probiotics, 2 to 6 billion per day for 2 to 3 months. Again, remember to check the prebiotic content. Usually, if there is a significant amount of prebiotic, it will be listed on the ingredient label. So that's just something to bear in mind. And again, 3 to 5 grams is okay. You don't want to be above that. And then the final point here, or the final 2 points really, quality assurance. You want to look for good manufacturing practices, GMP, free of allergens like egg and dairy. Third-party testing can be helpful also to ensure viability. And then the last point I want to leave you with here is be wary that the cheapest probiotic isn't always the best value. And this was a pretty insightful exercise for me to go through from a piece we put together a few months back, comparing the probiotic that we use, which is anywhere between $49 and $44. And then we went over to Amazon. We found similar ingredient formulas for $15 and for $24. And I said to myself, that's a big price delta. How do we account for that? Well, when you price it out, when you price out the dose per capsule and how many bottles you would need to have a clinical dose, let's say 10 billion for 2 months. With the formula we use, 1 bottle would last you 2 months. With these other 2 formulas, you would need 5 bottles to last 2 months. And the cost, as you see, goes from $49 for the product that we use to $120 to $75. This isn't to say our formula is the best, but what it is to say is, especially for online retailers, they know that consumers like to spend less money, $15, $20, $49. But what you should do is look at how many servings you get for the cost. Because in this case, even though these other probiotics are cheaper, $15, $20, you get much, much less serving per bottle. Therefore, you'll end up spending more money over time. So just something to be aware of. Now, as a counterpoint, you could argue, well, if I'm looking to assess tolerance, maybe I want the cheaper formula. I think that's reasonable. Also bear in mind that sometimes, not always, the cheaper formulas have cut corners with quality. Again, that's not always, and sometimes supplement companies will use spin, kind of the most expensive is the best, and that's also incorrect. So I think if you look for a probiotic in the middle of the pack and you price check, you'll probably find a pretty good formula.